Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Oh, we got a great one for you today. It's kind of inspired by what we did yesterday. We showed you how to add text over your images here. And also, a couple of videos ago, we made these buttons that spin and grow on hover here. Well, today, kind of combined it. We've got an icon button here. When you hover over it, it's going to grow. Icon's going to disappear, and we're going to have a word in there instead. Great idea for a little alternative menu for you, or anything that you want to use these for. And that's really eye-catching, nice little feature to have on your site here. Really easy to do, so let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Okay, and let's go down. We'll start a new row. I'm going to click on the existing row. I'm going to hit the little plus to add a new one. Now you can easily use a single row and use some flex CSS to separate these. I'm actually going to just have 5, so I'm going to have a row with 5 columns, but that's entirely up to you. And in my first column, funnily enough, we're going to use an icon module for this today. And there it is. Search for the icon that you want. Let's find a home. Now we'll pop that one in there. Obviously, put the link in here where you want to take people with your button. That can be any URL or any section or anything like that. Always best practice if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. Okay, well, let's choose an initial background color for this. I'm just going to use a black. And then when we hover over it, we'll have it change color. And this is common to all Divi modules. If you hover up over the dark writing within a module, you'll see some little icons appear. If they're not there, just hover over the dark writing, they'll appear. If there's an arrow there, we can easily create a hover state. Now, desktops, when the mouse is not on it, obviously, we'll keep it black. When they hover over it, let's change it to red, or whatever color you want there. Great. Well, let's flip that back to the desktop. Let's move on over to our design now. My icon, I'm going to have it white initially. And size-wise, I'm going to make mine about 30 pixels. Obviously, styling is completely up to you. Alignment, it wants to be in the middle, that's fine. Spacing, I'm going to give it a bit of breathing room all round. So padding, I'm going to give it 10 pixels top and bottom. Just put it in the 10, it'll put the pixels in, hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And we'll do the same over here for left and right. And we've got a square there. Now, once we've got a square, we can make it into a circle if that's what you want. To make it into a circle, go down to border just below here. Let's up that from 0 to 50. And we've got a nice rounded button there. Just need to make sure that your little chains check there, it'll do all 4 sides at once for you. Great. Now we've done a color change on hover, but I want that little icon to disappear when we hover over it too. So if we go back up to our icon, to icon color, it's white initially. If we get our little arrow up for the hover state now, click on the hover tab. When we hover over it, I'm going to have it disappear by making it transparent. Great. And also, I'm going to have it get a little bit bigger because I think for services and contact and stuff like that, that's not going to be quite enough real estate. So if we make it grow when we hover over it, it'll make it easier to accommodate that text. So I'll leave it on hover state. And we're going to go down. We're still under the design tab. Transform on the bottom here. First one's scale or grow. Again, we need to get up the little arrow there. We're on the hover state there. Let's take it up by about 30%. So it's about a third bigger, or just under 0.3 bigger. That'll work. And then when we're not hovering, it should go back down to regular size. Now the time that it actually takes to go from one to the other is 300 milliseconds with Divi by default, which is fine. I'm going to slow this down for a little bit of grace, so we can do that over in advanced. Here's transitions down here. There's the default 300. I'm going to kind of double it. About 600, something like that. You can slide, you can type in a value. You can also increment up and down with the little arrows right there. Everything else I'm going to leave just as it is right there. Great. Well, while we're over here, let's write a bit of CSS and we'll put the names in. So still under the Advanced tab, I'm going to go to the Custom CSS panel, and don't let that put you off. Really easy. Once in the Custom CSS panel, I'm going to go over to Module Elements. We're going to do like we did for these images yesterday. Going to go down to the After pseudo element, and these names we're going to actually type in as an after pseudo element. So I'm going to write content, colon, open and close some inverted commas, and in between we can write what we want. I'm doing this in capitals, so I'm going to say home. At the moment you can see it's just down to the bottom right of that. We want it right smack bang in the middle. So if you followed yesterday's video, you already know how to do this. So we'll say position, absolute. After each line we put a semicolon. If you don't put a semicolon, it won't read the next line, so make sure you put one on those. And I'm going to say top. I want it halfway down, so 50%. I'm going to say left, same thing. Halfway down, say 50%. And you can adjust this if it's too tall or too small for you. Now I want it right in the middle there, so we need to translate it. So I'm going to use a bit of transform, colon translate. So round brackets right on the end with no gap. And I'm going to do negative 50% of its height and negative 50% of its width, which should put it in the middle there. Negative 50%, comma, and negative 50%. I know you can't see it too well, but it is actually right in the middle there. If you want to bring it up or down, you can adjust the levels there. Let's just make it so you can see it a little bit better. I'll give that white color. Color, FFF, is white. There you go. You can see it slightly better now. Like I say, if you want to bring it up or down slightly, you can adjust the top there. Goes up a bit. Let's just try 45% fun. Obviously position it where it works for you best. Fantastic. Great. That font's a little bit too big for me, so I'm going to put a little semicolon in there. We'll say font size. I used about 12 pixels last time. That seemed to work, but obviously make it the size that you want it. That's better. But of course we don't want to see that little icon as well, but we get rid of that in a moment. Now we want to make sure that when we click on this we can get to the link, because we're putting this home on top of it here. So if we're not careful we won't be able to click on the link that we've given the icon. To make sure that that's going to work, I'm going to say pointer dash events none. That way our little pointer will click through to that button there. Fantastic. Now of course initially we don't want to see that name at all, so I'm going to say opacity, see-throughness if you like. I'm going to put it to 0, which is totally invisible. It's gone. Brilliant. I'm going to copy that, and on the hover state we'll bring it back. And it's the same over here in the CSS. Let's copy that entry. Hit the little arrow at the top here. If it's not there, just roll over the dark writing. It should appear. Then when they hover over it, I'm going to bring it back with opacity 1, which is fully visible. That looks okay to me. If you wanted to make it more dominant, you can make that font weight bold. We'll go back to our desktop state. I'll put it under font size there. It doesn't really matter. So font weight, colon. And we'll make it bold. BOLD. And if I flip it now to hover, you'll see that that's bolded. Fantastic. Now I need to give this a transition duration just to slow it down a little bit. We made our 600 milliseconds or 0.6 of a second, so I want it the same for our little text overlay here. So in the regular state, I'm going to say transition dash duration 0.6s. Perfect. Great. Well, if we've done everything correctly now, this should be good to go. We may have to adjust. And I'll copy this and put this below. Don't forget to put the opacity 1 to bring it back in the hover state there. I won't bother putting that down below. It's just this line with a 1 instead of a 0. So let's save our changes here. Save the page changes. And let's exit the Visual Builder. There's our little button there. When I hover over it, it's going to grow. It's going to give us our text. And as you can see by the pointer, we can click on it and link to somewhere. We take our mouse off of it again. It's going to shrink back down just to have the icon there. It's doing that in 0.6 of a second. Now, once you've got one, it's really easy to duplicate, and I'm sure you're ahead of me on this. If I re-enable the Visual Builder, we can go in, click on the icon. We can use the little clone module to clone it. Put one underneath, drag one of them across to the next column. Then we can simply go in there, find a new icon, put our new page link in down here, wherever it is you want to take people with this particular button. Then over to the advanced custom CSS, module elements, down to our after. And we just need to change that home, whatever this was, about, A-B-O-U-T, and again I'm using capitals for that. And we're good to go. Rinse and repeat for more buttons. So again, let's save the changes. And we'll exit the Visual Builder. And we got another button there. And again, hover over, the name's going to appear, it's going to grow. Same with this one. Fantastic. And I just rinse and repeated for these other ones here. Services, team, contact. And just be aware of the amount of text you can put in these, because there is a bit of a limit on the space there, but you can adjust it to taste. So there you go, guys. There's how to create some buttons that flip from icon to text on Hover. Really nice little interactive feature. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Like I say, this was inspired from our video yesterday about putting text over these lightbox images using that pseudo element. Really useful thing to know. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.